Something was afoot at the Circle K this evening. Lately, I've been siphoning gas from the Circle K, bringing back a few gallons with each trip into town to continue to power my generator. But there was something definitely off today. Recently, a cult of cannibals have taken up residence on the east side, but they typically operate east of the tracks only, as the large urban center has been overrun by zombies, of course. Which, more on zombies in the future. Suffice to say, they are wildly overrated as far as threat level is concerned. But all that to say that I'm not really sure if it was cannibal cultists or what, but something untoward has taken up position at the Circle K. I didn't see anything. It's just a feeling I have, nothing definitive, but I have learned to trust that little chill up my spine when picking my way across the hellscape. It's kept me alive for this long, at any rate, so I'll continue to listen to it. But the trip was not all in vain, for I was pleasantly surprised to find in my temporally distorted post office box a small parcel. Looks like it's from our friend Blipbait, who likes to send me these curios from time to time. Let's see if we can open it without disemboweling its contents. Oh, I may have indeed done some disembowelment. Here we go. There we go. All right. Looks like there is a note here from Blipbait. He says, "It's dangerous to go alone. Take this." Okay. I'm sure, like always, it's something that will actually be completely useless for my continued survival in this dystopian nightmare, instead of something truly useful like 9mm ammo or multivitamins. We're going to be doing some solo RPG stuff. And don't get me wrong, I'm grateful. I'm actually very grateful. There's a lot to be said for keeping one's mind engaged. In fact, that's rule number one, really, of survival. All battles are won or lost first in the mind, as they say. So, lone survival takes a lot of willpower, and you really have to like yourself a lot. I do like myself, which is why I love spending time solo role-playing. Games like this one, which is Harper's Quest 2, a solo RPG by Joy Peddler Games. It's almost zine-like, which really makes me happy. I love little zines, especially if they have great artwork or clever writing. This one looks like it's mostly rules, which I can get behind. That's fine. I love engaging my mind and churning on a new set of interesting mechanics. But I do love it when there's personality in these sorts of rules light, self-contained little systems. So I hope that's what we have here. It's like, in addition to the book, we have a character sheet. That's nice. Thank you for sending that along, as well as my dot matrix printer right now is on the fritz, low on ink besides. Let's see what we have here. Ooh, and looks like a sort of a standalone adventure as well. Well, that's fun. Looks like some sort of demon-esque satanic thing, which I'm up for that. I'm all in. I'm here for it. So let's dive into this. I'm going to go through the rules and get a handle on those. I'll probably have Blipbait fast forward through a lot of the just reading, and then I'll summarize sections as we go. After that, I'll do a playthrough, and this will last either until I get bored, or I complete the campaign, or I die. And by that I mean in game or in real life, as I never really know when a band of ravaging marauders will come through and pick my little safe house clean, and including my bones. It could really happen at any time, but there's no sense sitting around and hand-wringing about that. Once I'm done with the playthrough, I will give you my initial thoughts on this system, and I'll let you know if I'll be playing this again in the future. So let's get into it. Put these aside for now. Ah, yes. Before playing Harper's 2, Quest 2, I wonder what 1 was all about. Is to imply that there was a 1 and not as good? Is this a new version of the game, or is this like a sequel of some kind in some other way? I don't know. Solo role-playing game. It provides a structure for you to create your own adventure. It doesn't take place in any specific time period. Well, that's good, because this time period sucks. But it's inspired by medieval fantasy. Quests take about 40 to 60 minutes. Nothing here prevents you from playing with a group. Why no specific setting, things, and genre? I mean, basically, I assume they're going to explain that this is agnostic to any sort of specific, theme or time. Little on role-playing. Random tables, oracles, or your own imagination. Meaning this is probably meant to be supplemented. That makes sense. It's small, or it can be supplemented. Expect to keep track of your adventure, jot down notes, track turns, items, clues. That does remind me that I do need my mechanical pencil and a fresh Oxford. Okay. Most of all, have fun. Thank you. Who is this by again? Joy Peddler Games. I do plan and hope and intend to have fun while I'm here on this planet. Talks about inspirations. We won't go through those. Edition 1. So interesting. It's edition 1.13 of version 2. So why isn't it 2.13? I mean, little quibbles. All right, table of contents. Starting out, quests drive your adventure. Roll on the table below and generate your own based on interpretation of the results. So quests can be more than one area or dungeon. A short quest could be 1 to 2 areas or dungeons. A long quest 3 to 4, and an epic 5 or more. We'll probably just do 1 tonight. So it is saying you can roll on 1, but I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna probably there's a reason this was attached. I'm guessing this might be a good intro game, so probably do that. So I don't think I'm gonna do that. Generating of a quest quite yet. Building a quest area. It'll tell you this is, wow, extremely basic. Areas are made up of rooms. Roll 2d6 for the total number of rooms and add 1 final room for boss. Or if you're just using a predefined map from another module, the work is done for you. Just choose a final or boss room. So, okay. That's really light on. I mean, it might be nice for those who have never done this before. I have, so this doesn't apply to me, but for somebody else, or who doesn't know where to go to find, maps and things, that a little bit more clue on how you might do something like this or generate a quest area. It says, don't forget to search for clues. Any room can be searched for clues once by rolling on your character's wisdom attribute. Put this over here just as we're looking for some anchors to memory. So there's a wisdom attribute. Successful rolls find a clue. 3 clues let you learn the boss's weakness. Okay, so the end boss will have some weaknesses, and you can learn that by successfully finding clues. Clues can be an abstract clue or a specific item related to your quest. So that looks like it's kind of vague, something for you to figure out on your own or create. Creating an adventure. No classes here. A wizard with a penchant for brawling? Sure. A light-footed barbarian? That's fine too. And I have to say, friends, that I do like this. I enjoy when... Let's get zoomed in here. I do enjoy when you can, you just have a person, and that person can choose who they want to be. There's no manifest destiny. There's no pigeonholing that has to happen. What if someone goes through a midlife crisis and they decide they're tired of being a barbarian? Anyway, roll attack ceiling. Okay, so AC is attack ceiling in this game. That's not armor class. That could be confusing. Whatevs. That number must be rolled at or below to hit your enemies. So this is one of those mechanics where you roll under. I like rolling under things. Attack ceiling 4d6. I have only 2 ATM, so we'll do it twice, and man, we'll have to do some math. I know it's asking a lot. 1 and a 3 and a 3 and a 2, and that sucks, but whatever. 3, 2. So we're gonna get, let's see, add the dice, remove the lowest. So we've got 8. 8 is our attack ceiling. That is what we're going to have to roll under. And we have no choice, friends. There is no choice. That is what we get. Whether it's fun or not, we are stuck with rolling a d20 and getting under an 8 every time we want to attack. That is what our rules are telling us, and that is life. That is life. Sometimes life sucks, like when everyone you know dies and you're in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. That's life. Hit points are next. This is the damage you can take before you're out of a fight. Follow the same procedure. All right, let's hope we do a little better for our friend here on hit points. We have a 1. I have a feeling I know where that's going. Straight to the trash heap. All right, a little better. We've got a 10 on hit points. I'm not sure. I mean, let's see. Average would be what? I mean, a good roll, a really good roll would be an 18. And we got a 10. So, I mean, it's a little north of pure shite. Okay. Next are your attributes. There are 3 attributes: strength, dexterity, wisdom. See, okay, so I'll pause here. Strength, dexterity, wisdom, that's fine. I actually like that. I like that there's not 50 million different attributes you have to keep track of, and then skills underneath each one of those. Heaven forbid, that's a lot to try to keep track of, and it's not my favorite thing. This is simple, but I will say this. I'm gonna take a guess that wisdom is where they're gonna put your charismatic stuff. So let's look. Let's first, before we roll, let's look. So we have strength. Let me just reposition. I sometimes forget to reposition the old tape recorder. So video tape recorder. So if I do that, I apologize. We do have 2 angles. We've got this angle up here. So anyway, strength, bashing, obviously, blocking, stomping, swinging, lifting, pulling, pushing. All of those things that you do with muscles. Dexterity, fidelity with tools, ranged weapons, sleight of hand, aiming, climbing, sneaking, lockpicking, and pickpocketing. Just what I would expect for dexterity. It makes a lot of sense. Now here we get to the crux of the problem. Wisdom, searching, distraction, perception. See, distraction though, I mean, could that be dexterity? I don't know about that one. Perception, persuasion. Okay, here's my problem. Charisma, deception, camouflage. See, camouflage, that would be dexterity in my opinion. Speechcraft and magic. Okay, no, I don't like that. It doesn't work for me, and here's why. Some of the smartest people I know are the biggest douchebags, or new. They're all dead, but they were complete tools. And on the other hand, some of the people I love more than anything were IQ 5, right? I mean, this doesn't make sense. So, okay, I'm not going to go off on a soapbox. We're good. We'll do it. We'll settle for smart and charismatic are the same thing. Sure, why not? All right. Attributes. Yes, okay, roll 3d6. And what you roll is what you get. There's no complaining, no moaning. It's just what it is. So we've got 5. We are not dexterous. Let me reposition. What did I say? 6. Things are not looking good for our friend here. Genetics were not kind to him, and I fear for how long he will last. Strength, okay. Well, that's not a 9, that is a 6. So we've got an 11, 12. It was looking so promising. 12 strength, wisdom. Oh gosh. Oh, we got a 5. Oh, my friends, he's gonna die. All right, that's what it is though. Money. Currency lets you purchase goods, advance skills, upgrade weapons, roll 4d6. Maybe he'll be a rich idiot though. Who knows? Let's see. 6. Oops. And 12. Okay, well, maybe not. 120 GP. Purchase items in between quests. 2 starting items are free. Roll a d12 twice on the item table and grab 2 healing potions. Okay, I like that. We'll probably use those, I'm guessing. Additional items can be purchased, but remember to save some gold for a starting weapon. Armor, shields, amulets, and whetstones can only be equipped by 1 character at a time. Bonuses afforded by these items do not stack. Characters can hold 12 items. All right, d12 it up. We get a antidote and antidote and a rope ladder. Okay. All right. So we have healing. Finding heirlooms upgrades your current character. You can also bequeath them to permanently upgrade your next generation upon your character's death. I just hope for the sake of this fellow's next generation that they do not inherit his genes. We'll just hope it's somebody completely different. All right, we've got some heirlooms. I'm going to worry about that when they come up. After an area quest, feel free to narrate a rest to restore your health. Visit a town or hone your skills. Training can be purchased in 1-point increments. Okay, so you buy your levels. Interesting. So if for some reason he strikes it rich, maybe there's hope for him. At this point, I do feel like we should name our friend. It hasn't told us to do so, but we'll name them. And this is just me personally. When I do solo role-playing games, I find it's best to not have them be anything associated with me. It's almost as if they are the actor, I am the director, and if good things happen to them that pleases me, I would like for them to have good things to happen to them. But if not, it's in service of the story, and the story is what matters a little bit more than our friend here. So let's come up with a name. How about I'm just thinking, with a really low IQ and not very coordinated. It's Bumbles. That's his name, and it's a he. Our friend is Bumbles. Bumbles is not. He's average with strength and low IQ and really clumsy, and he is being sent out in this cold, cruel world. And I have little hope for Bumbles. All right. Weapon and magic. Choose a weapon. Damage depends on the quality, not the specific weapon. You'll purchase your starting weapon, find treasure, and defeat enemies to get gold and upgrade your starting weapon. Okay. Oh, interesting. So, looking at this weapons table, let's zoom in here. Let's get a little more friendly with the weapons table. I like this because you can have a weapon, let's say it's just a broadsword, and then it's of different type of broadsword or quality. It could be mediocre, or it could be new, it could be legendary, and that will determine its capability for damage. That's interesting. Although, you know, just to be nitpicky, a damaged broadsword, how is that any D4? How is that any worse than a new mace, which, you know, effectively could be the same, whatever. We're not going to overanalyze. This is an interesting mechanic. Magic is powerful. Even a weak cast, rolling above wisdom. Okay, so ruining or misfiring on wisdom causes damage. Rolling below your wisdom results in a success cast, okay, which is slightly better than a weak cast. That causes moderate damage. Rolling exactly your wisdom, okay, is an ultra cast. So in my case, if I roll a 5, I get myself an ultra cast. So even Bumbles has a chance to lay waste to the enemy. Starting character gets 1 spell by rolling a d8. All right, I like the sound of that. Mama needs a new pair of shoes. Is that what they say? 1. Flare burst. Of course it's a 1. A ranged fireball or stream of white hot flare strong enough to melt metals and soft stone. I like the sound of that. Weak hit gives d4 fire damage. Success is 2d6 fire damage to all foes. Okay, so we get some AoE going. Ultra, room-sized inferno, incinerates all foes, instant victory. Okay, I can get behind that. Let's just hope my rolls are better when we're in battle. Oh, you also get distraction. Okay, using magic in battle takes up 1 turn. Spells can be used outside of battle anytime. Cast 3 spells a day. I'm guessing that's why over here we have that's why we have our spells cast. A magic scroll is a single-use spell. That's kind of like D&D. Makes sense. All right. We are getting through this thing. Treasure. Defeating a foe automatically grants gold points. Enemy type dictates the amount. Fleeing enemies do not grant treasure. Some feature prompts include plus treasure. This means a hidden treasure is in the room. Complete a successful search of the room. Roll at or below wisdom. Okay, so we search by rolling. I laugh every time I look at my wisdom. To find treasure, then roll a d20 on the treasure table below. All right, consult the oracle when searching random items. I don't know where the oracle is, probably in the back. All right, let's talk about death and dying. It's a fond subject for me, something I know quite a bit about. When a character reaches 0 hit points, they are dying. Dying characters can be revitalized by a death save. Death saves require a decision, not a roll. Okay, so I have a choice. And I'm sure that Grim Reaper will appear and give me these options. Surrender to death. Leave gold items, unused heirlooms, plus 1d4 roll for a new heirloom at the location of death. Interesting. The next generation must successfully travel to the location to acquire the items. All right, so you're leaving your inheritance for hopefully a less stupid and idiotic and clumsy fellow. Resist death. Permanently reduce your AC, HP, or any attribute by 1. Characters can resist death. Don't have much to lose here. I don't know, that's a good idea. They can resist death only once per area. Characters can resist are revived with full health points. Okay. And you can't do it twice. And nothing passes to the next generation. That'll be a very selfish way to go. Alright, room sequences. First, determine inhabitants by roll of d6. Consult the oracle. If desired, add a feature by rolling on d66 feature table. Alright, oh, here's the oracle. Okay. And there was another table that I roll a feature for. Oh, okay. And here in the back, it looks like we've got some D66 tables for different types of areas. I hope there's a post-apocalyptic setting. Castles, hideouts, mines, dungeons. Okay, well, whatever. Avoiding a fight. Okay, so if we roll a d6, 1 to 2 empty, 3 trap, 4 NPC, 5, 6 enemy. Makes sense. Avoiding a fight. Don't want to fight? Try to avoid it. Roll on dexterity to sneak by. That's not gonna happen. Or bash through the room with strength. Bash through with strength. Does that mean that I could get through, like, rush through a room with a roll against strength and not have to fight? Is that what that means? That's not clear. That's not clear to me, because that's a different sort of mechanic than I'm used to. I mean, dexterity, that makes sense, sneak by, but bash through, wouldn't that just be a battle? I don't know. Wouldn't that just be a battle and then a flee, like running? Is there a running? I don't know. Or wisdom, distraction by casting. Okay, so that's what the distraction spell is for. Avoid a fight rewards a bonus of 200 gold. I get 200 gold for avoiding a fight? Okay, interesting. Failing to avoid a fight immediately begins the battle. And here's where our risk and reward comes into play. We are at a disadvantage. +3 to attack rolls for the entire fight. Okay, ooh, that is an ouch. All right, so it's a pretty big risk you're taking. +3 to attack rolls, yikes. All right. Exploring rooms. During exploration, if something requires skill, choose the attribute and roll a d20. Makes sense. Typical stuff. Rolling under your attribute is success. Rolling exactly is a great success. I like that. Narrate something helpful, exciting, and encouraging. Rolling greater than your attribute is a failure, of course. Exits aren't always doors, then blah, 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 blah. Okay, backtracking through a room. So if we, for instance, if we enter into our lobby here and we come over here and it's dead end, we have to backtrack to a room. It looks like we roll at a -3 on this table. Okay, so what that really means is I have a 1/3 chance for it to be trapped on backtracking, but no danger of seeing an enemy and no chance of seeing an NPC. Okay, yeah, I don't know. That's a weird mechanic, I think. I think that's a weird mechanic. We'll come back to that in the review at the end. Oracle, 1d6, so we have outcomes. I mean, let's just do that now. Is Bumbles gonna survive and make it through? 2, outcome, bad. Hey, at least it's not a disaster. All right, NPC reactions, violent, opposed, indifferent, friendly. See, that's weird to me, NPC reaction, because wouldn't that be based on my wisdom? Which I don't like, again, but according to those rules, why would I have it there? I don't know, whatever. Doors, open, trapped, stuck, locked. That makes sense. Value of something. Value of something. So maybe if we find something random, we can roll here to see what it's worth. Rest events, makes sense. Travel, yeah, like that. Which way incidental use supplies? Oh, which way? Left, right, straight. So you could generate a map using which way. Incidental use supplies, okay. NPC actions. So what the NPC does, so there's offer a clue here, which is interesting. Okay, so the 3 clues that we're trying to get about our end boss, you can get them by rolling a 1 with an NPC that you find along the way. All right, or help for next quest. Item search. Okay, makes sense. Room contents, empty. Oh yeah, so that's the same as that over there. And the type of enemy, I'm guessing Underling Warrior Elite. So, okay, how many there are, enemy reaction. Oh, interesting. So does that mean that an enemy may just not want to attack me? I could just see them and they could be like unaware, but that would be a dexterity roll. So why would I roll it on an oracle? I am confused. Enemy attack, normal attack, alternate attack. Okay, and who the enemy attacks, player character or other party members. So here's our AI for fighting. Very, very, very basic, which is fine. I'm no problem with that as long as they make sense and it's fairly airtight. I'm okay with simple things like that. Simple rules light. NPCs and hirelings. When meeting an NPC, roll on NPC table to define their trait, roll an item. Okay, NPC table. Let's just take a peek and see what that is. Aha, NPC generator. So, see, tables like this always confuse me because it's a 66, 2d6, but does it mean that it's all of these things, or do I roll it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times to get different things? And I tend to want to do 5 times to get different things because I don't like repetition. Interact with NPCs for a single purpose. For instance, convince them to join your party or offer a clue, trade, or divulge a shortcut. If an NPC joins your party, use the stats from the NPC table. For attribute values. Choose an attribute based on their profession, role. For attribute values, choose an attribute based on their profession or role. Okay, so we can pick an attribute. Oh, this attribute is 14. The other 2 are set to. Oh, okay. All right. Use the same process if they attack you. All right, that makes sense. I like that. Traps, so this will determine the type of trap, the attribute that I have to roll against to survive the trap. Makes sense. I can detect and disarm it using wisdom to detect, dexterity to disarm. Damage from a trap, it's all the same, it looks like, is a d6 applied to any party member. Okay, but that makes sense, but some are like, one's poison. Is there like a fire one? No, but poison, does that mean I get poisoned? That's not clear. Combat. Ah, the good stuff. PCs act first, unless the narrative dictates otherwise. First, roll a d20 to attack. Rolling equal to, the attack ceiling, like we said. So if hit for a roll, subtract the damage from the enemy's hit points. When your enemy's hit points reach 0, they are defeated, yes. Oh, very, very clear. When enemies attack, they attempt to roll at or below their AC, their attack ceiling, not armor class. If it's success, it's a hit, and the enemy's damage dies roll. Yes. Okay. Oh, or attempt to defend. So you can defend. They cannot defend. You can defend. Defensive moves. Choose your defensive move to incoming damage. No defensive move can be used twice in a row unless doubling down. Okay, if success, the defense move blocks all incoming damage. If unsuccessful, 2 additional points of damage are applied. All right, so that's our risk and reward. So we have 4 types of blocks. We have a dodge, a block with strength, distract with wisdom, or counter. 2d20 equal or below the sum of, so you add strength and dexterity, and you have to do 2d20 to get below the ceiling. And as it says here, it's interesting. And as it says here, defensive actions cannot be used twice in a row unless doubling down. So that is probably why when we look over here, you see character's previous action. I think that should say previous defensive move would make more sense, because then they've got the 4. And so I would assume we put a marker on here and just make sure we can't do the one we did last. All right. That's an interesting mechanic. I'll say I've not seen that before, and I think I like it. We'll see. Okay, so here's what doubling down is. High risk, high reward. You will roll twice for the same action, so you can do 2 in a row. The second roll is a -2, and I don't think I'll be doing that with Mr. Bumbles here, but it is a possibility, so I won't go into that right now. There is a combat example here, but we will not go through that together because I will be giving you examples. I might push pause and read that. Momentum. Momentum allows for, this is like critical hit, I'm guessing. Multiple damage rolls, dealing massive damage. Gain momentum either by rolling your attack ceiling. So in my case, if I roll my 8 when attacking, I will get gain momentum. Rolling the top 2 dice values on your damage die. Oh, okay, so I still need to get my weapon, so I don't know what my damage is. But if it's a d6 and I roll a 5 or a 6, then I get momentum. So either of those 2 ways. So they stack. What if both things happen? The additional damage is 1 die step down. Okay, so a d6 would mean I get to also roll a d4. This simulates fatigue when success hits. So then if I do the same thing with the d4, would I be able to roll a d2 which doesn't exist? I don't know, flip a coin. Momentum carries over. If you defeat an enemy mid-momentum, remaining damage is applied to another foe. I'm gonna forget that. I know I'm gonna forget that. I always forget stuff like that. I'll do my best to remember. Enemies and boss do not gain momentum. All right, I like that. They don't get it. Only Bumbles gets it. Do NPCs get it though? Or what did we call them? What did they call them? Hirelings. So we've used different terms because we've got hirelings, NPCs, and then here we've got companions. So we've got 3 different terms, but none of them are mentioned here. So do they get momentum? That is not clear to me. Retreating. A successful dexterity roll is required by each party member attempting to retreat. If successful, one enemy gets a free attack against the escapee. See, so that's what's confusing to me about entering a room and leaving, or like using your strength to get through a room. Yeah, it's not clear. Okay, so now we have rules for creating enemies. Since I do have a happy little scenario here, I'll just use theirs, and we won't do that for now. But there are 4 types of enemies: underlings, warriors, elites, and bosses. Okay. I mean, I guess that makes sense. And so you have, I'm guessing, rules for creating each. Alright, other game content. Most content from other role-playing games is not designed for solo play. That is true. So you as a game master and player character need to allow your PC to know less than you as game. Yes, I know. What does that have to do with anything before? I don't understand what the point of that was. Okay. Exploration. Okay, so this has to do with other games. We're not going to do anything with other games. This is going to do a self-contained little adventure here. And then conversions from other games. And then we have different oracles, quest prompts. And NPC generator, enemy generator, nouns, verbs, adjectives, unusuals, interesting, sensory descriptors, I like it, room features and prompts, forest features, cavern features. Oh, and we have, okay, so we have 2 out-of-box adventures. I like that. That's cool. I like that he kind of threw an extra one in, and then there's one built in. Huh, well, which one should we do? Now that we've read the rules and feel like we can dive into this, we can do the Crystal Guardian or the Harper Vanaya. I think we'll, my world is pretty dark already, so we'll push pause on this one, and this one just sounds a little happier. And Bumbles needs he needs lighthearted. This could be just as deadly, but the fact that the thematically feels less deadly, we're gonna try it. The Crystal Guardian, that's what we're gonna do. So we've read the rules now. Now I'm going to dive into the second part of this, which is attempting to solo RPG with Bumbles. I still need a weapon, and then we're doing this thing. So where do we do that again? Okay, it said that I can buy a weapon. So let's do that. I have 120 gold, and that gets me a weapon that is repaired. That is all. So Bumbles is afraid of everything, so we're gonna go with a ranged. Let's go with a ranged weapon. Oh, let's just roll on it. I mean, it says I can choose one, but we'll just roll. It'll be something that Bumbles inherited from his equally dumb father. A bow and arrow, makes sense. So we have a bow that is, what did I say? A repaired bow that does D6 damage. Okay. Wait, does ranged rely on dexterity? Oh, I think it... No, it's all attack ceiling. Yes, I gotta get out of that. Okay, so attack ceiling is what I roll for all attacks, whether melee or ranged, and I do 1d6. It does 1d6. Okay, is there anything else that I'm missing here? I think I've got it. I think I've got my Mr. Bumbles created. So let us foray into the unknown. The Crystal Guardian, located between the Lucan Forest and the Mendling River, sits the town of Filtmore. For generations, this quiet village has housed a great secret. Filtmore's founder, Lord Filt, planted a magic crystal under the town's center. The crystal's power gave Filtmore unusually good fortune. Long-lived inhabitants, incredible crop yields, and the region's greatest tasting ales and wines. The cause of Filtmore's luck is surmised by outsiders. And that might be why Bumbles is not very smart or tough, because he's led a pampered life. Makes sense. The cause of Filtmore's reputation regularly brings those seeking its secret. Sometimes these seekers are peaceful, but more often they're of an unsavory nature. A team of bandits has infiltrated the nearby Lucan Forest. As a newly initiated guardian, your task was stopping their advance. You enter the Lucan Forest. Okay, let me just say, whoever decided that Bumbles was up for the task of clearing out a band, no less, not one, a band of brigands. I think they had it out for him. I think that they were looking to knock Bumbles off, because I don't think he has a prayer. So Captain of the Guard is for sure evil. Room number 1 is not a room, it is a forest glen. Let us roll our room sequence and see what we get. In room number 1 we have, of course we do, we have a trap. Alright, so do we need to journal this? I'm not sure we really do need to journal that I've come across a trap just yet. So let's see what kind of trap we're dealing with at this point. I think we have a trap table, if I'm not mistaken. We have a trap table on the next page, so let's see what we're dealing with. We get to roll on a d12. I might die with just a trap. Actually, no. They can only do 1d6 damage, so we'll at least survive for 2 rooms, I'm guessing. 3. Poison gas. It's funny that we roll the very one I was confused about, and that is, do I actually get poisoning? So let's do some narration here. Bumbles enters the forest glen with peaceful light, dappled lighting in the trees, and nature calling. I mean, I guess that means he has to take a whiz. Yeah, let's go with it. So Bumbles drops his drawers and proceeds to take a leak and do his business. As he does so, an errant stream makes contact with a trap which is sprung, releasing poisonous and noxious gases. Actually, let's say it's a poisonous mushroom. It was on the verge of exploding, and he decided to engage in some some artillery attack with his pee stream, his urine stream on this unsuspecting mushroom, which did not appreciate it, thus bursting and releasing poisonous and noxious gas upon our poor fellow Bumbles. Let's see, and to avoid poison, we must roll for Bumbles' dexterity. So D20 under a 6. Oh boy. 3! Wow. Bumbles was able to dodge the worst of the noxious odors and remains unscathed, though much more wary than he was, realizing now that this is not a harmless forest. No, this forest will try to kill him. He now has a healthy dose of respect. He will no longer be doing any peeing errantly on seemingly defenseless fungi. All right, so after we do that, then I think we can search, right? We can search the room, if I'm not mistaken. So there's more to search. There could be more traps. Let's do that, though. Item search. Okay, 1d6. Actually, so here's where I'm confused. Because I think it said that I can search for clues about the bandit, about the main boss, that is, by rolling against my wisdom. I believe that I read that. I know I read that. I'm not going to try to find where. So that's what confuses me, because I can also do an item search. So which do I do? Do I do both? And what was the risk? What was the risk and reward for doing a wisdom search to try to find clues? I do not recall. Let me push pause and do a little searching here. So here's where it is. It says any room can be searched for clues once by rolling on your character's wisdom attribute. Successful rolls finds a clue. 3 clues lets you learn the boss's weakness. Okay, that's fine. So I will do that, I guess. But then how is that different than a normal room search? I'm not sure. I don't understand, but we'll do both. So here, we can't do D6. That would be nice. But there is no risk for finding, there is no risk. So we'll just do it. Under 5 and a 2. Wow, Bumbles. If we had a luck metric so far, a luck attribute, Bumbles would be winning. But he has found the first boss clue. You'll see down here there is a boss clue counter, and he has found the first one. So I don't even remember, what is the boss that it's a bandit of some kind. A bandit boss named Eric Mansworn. Eric, what an interesting name for a villain. Not fear-inspiring, but maybe that's what he wants. He wants you to underestimate. Eric wants you to underestimate him. I don't know what his... I'm not sure what his weakness is. Loves explosives. Doesn't say. Special attack. So we'll have to make one up. We'll say that Eric Mansworn's weakness is being flipped off. He does not like to be flipped off, and when he does, he freaking loses it. He loses his shiz when you flip him off, and he doesn't like it, and it makes him it makes him unable to control his movements effectively. So we'll say that's what his weakness is. Of course, Bumbles does not know the full extent yet of the weaknesses, but what he stumbles upon in the Glen is a note, and the note says, he reads this note. It's one of the crew members, a bandit troop, writing to another one. He says, Eddie, because his name is as dumb as Eric's. He says, Eddie, do not, whatever you do, use that obscene gesture against Eric. He will kill you. And so, and when he kills, or he will try to kill you, but he'll probably just hurt himself in the process because he gets so mad. So Bumbles knows at this point that there's some sort of obscene gesture that Eric does not enjoy. He doesn't know what yet, though, so he's on to it, though. He is on to something. He will put that letter in his pocket, and he will proceed. So we have a fork in the path. Oh, I didn't read this. Entrance, dense forest, southern exit down 3 terraces about 5 feet each. Southern exit clear. Okay. So there's a terraced drop down to this room or area, and then there's another one over here. Bumbles doesn't really know which is which, so what would Bumbles do? He sees some terraced steps, he sees a smooth pathway, but Bumbles likes to skip. He by nature is a good-natured fellow who enjoys life and being in nature. He likes these little terraced drops, and he thinks it'll be fun to skip down them. Oh, they're 5 feet. Oh, that's not a skip. That's not small. Okay, so never mind. He starts to skip. He gets up close, realizes these are steeper than, or much bigger of a drop than what he expected. So he will come back to that. Let's head over to 3. And so he walks into another glen, peaceful glade, and he sees a fallen tree, thorny vines resembling spiked snakes. He doesn't enjoy snakes, nor vines resembling snaked. Although vines resembling snakes, he will appreciate slightly more than an actual spiked snake. All right. Room sequence. We have an enemy. What kind of enemy, you say? That is a good question. Enemy could be an underling, a warrior, or an elite. Let's find out. It is... Oh boy, it's a warrior. Okay, well that's good. It's not an elite. Could be worse. How many are there? Oh boy. Let's just hope it's 1, because I'm not sure Bumbles is up for anything more. It is, fortunately, 1. Alright. The warriors in this area are birch elves. Okay. We have this handy table on our character sheet for tracking this information. So let's go ahead and fill this out. So we have a birch elf. And he has an attack ceiling, not armor class of 10. He has 7 hit points. Oh boy. I'm so nervous I'm breaking my lead. And he deals 1d8 of damage. He does more damage than our hero does, which is that's interesting. I mean, I don't think there's really a way with the prices of those weapons to do more than 1d6 as a main character. So the fact that we're already getting 1d8 opponents, this is real. This is real, you guys. We can die in this, and I think this is part of this this movement of what you guys call the old school renaissance of games. For me, it's just you know. It's just March, because that's what I'm used to. So it's kind of funny to see this resurgence or renaissance. Anyway, this is just how things go out here in the wasteland and in the land of RPG games that I'm used to. Okay, bandit troop, or sorry, birch elves, not bandit troops. We're not up for those dudes. Birch elves. Alright. Primary inhabitants of the Lucan Forest, nimble warriors that communicate using clicks and whistles. Upset at the recent infiltration into their forest, and who wouldn't be? Can you blame them? But unable to discern between friend and foe. When it comes to human-style beings, equipped with slings and spears. Alright, so they have ranged, and they have ranged and melee capability. And we don't do like movement and stuff, it's just 1 action a turn. This is simplicity at its finest, which I appreciate. Sometimes that's all I want for a solo RPG. So all we really need at this point is this. We have us versus them, and we're going to do battle in the tradition, 1-on-1, elf versus human, a tale as old as time. let's get into it. Let's do some warfare. First things first, attack ceiling is 8, and if I'm gonna hit this guy, I need a magical roll. I did not get a magical roll, therefore my turn is over. So we'll say Bumbles, in typical Bumble fashion, takes his bow and drops the arrow while attempting to knock it due to extreme nervousness and incompetence. Birch Elf sees this and thinks this might be an easy kill for him. AC 10, rolls 12. So he does attempt to take a shot with his sling, and it flies errant. All right, Bumbles will attempt to knock another arrow, this time with more resolve. And more resolve pays off. He does indeed knock the arrow, lets it fly, and against all odds, he is able to score a hit. So 1d6 damage, right? Right. Oh, that's his flare burst. Oh, maybe I should be casting a spell. I don't know. It's one enemy. I'm sure Bumbles is gonna be up against more competent foes in the future, and I feel it behooves him to save spells. In addition, like, do I really think Bumbles will be able to cast said spells? Doubtful. So let's just stick with what we know and do some bow damage. 1d6, 2 damage. All right. Birch Elf takes an arrow to the kneecap, but he is far from out of the fight. He'll drop his sling, take up his spear, and charge. 11, just off, just misses. Bumbles trips out of his way, thus saving himself from surely being skewered. All right, let's do our attack ceiling here. Bumbles turns, knocks another arrow. This is really all he has to work with, so he does create a little bit of space between him and the Birch Elf. Again, he is on fire with this bow. He feels a confidence like none he's ever experienced. Does land a hit, does 5 damage. What do you know? Somehow the arrow goes straight through the neck of poor Birch Elf, who is just defending his land, really. I mean, come on. But Bumbles can't think about that right now. All he can think about is the fact that he has won the day. And the spoils of victory are his, which are, of course, I believe a roll. Wasn't that what I read? Okay, so we automatically get gold. 200 gold points for a warrior. I assume that's the going rate for Birch Elves in the town. Sure, not foe, huh? Yeah, when you can earn money for killing them. And do we get a treasure? No, but we can search the room for treasure and for a clue, by the way. So we will do a search for a clue in this area against our wisdom. Oh my, he is on fire. This Bumble's luck it's coming through for him. His rolls are happening in a good way, and he doesn't actually find a clue, but what he does see, as the Birch Elf is dying, his last breath, he does raise a middle finger in one last gesture of defiance, and that gets Bumble's mind working, and he wonders, is that the obscene gesture? Is that it? He doesn't know for sure, but it's one step closer to knowing the truth, and that's what counts. We will now attempt to search the room, the area. And I know that there is a risk for traps at this point, but what Bumbles needs more than anything is as much gold as possible if he's going to level up and survive this harsh and cruel world. And so it's a shot in the dark, but we are going to try to see if we can get a treasure roll at a roll of number 6. If not that, an item. And if we have to fight somebody, I mean, that's the reality of it. So just don't roll a 4, Bumbles. 1, nothing. Okay, all that for nothing. Alrighty, back to the map. Bumbles gathers his spent arrows, takes one last look at Birch Elf, feels a moment of pity, but then he moves on. I mean, everybody dies, right? Back to room 1. When we do backtrack, we do run a risk of a trap, which is a mechanic that I don't particularly love, but we -3 from our room sequence roll, which is a 3, which is a 0, which means, I mean, that's nothing. So empty. No trap. Nobody has set a tripwire for our friend Bumbles as he's needing to backtrack. So down the 5-foot terraces we go. 5 feet. Do I need to roll? I mean, he is a klutz. I do think his dexterity is not amazing, but it is 5 feet, and he's about 6'2". That's partly why he's so klutzy, his unusual height, but we'll say he's okay. Into another clearing. With a fallen tree, 2 large logs blocking the southern pathway. So, I mean, unless those are massive redwoods, he could probably climb over them, so probably just no carts are going to make it through there. But we are on a clearing, and we need to find out what's in here with us at the moment. He's on edge. I mean, so far he has encountered a poisonous mushroom and an elf with a really bad attitude. So could be anything. It is empty. All right, let's do our wisdom search for our final clue, as you do when you are facing an impending boss battle that I might not even survive to get to, but whatevs. There's nothing. This clearing is empty. It is. Well, let's see. It may have an item, so let's find out. Oops. Well, it was a 4. 4 means underling attack. All right, so not completely empty. We do have an underling, which I appreciate. That is something that maybe Bumbles should be able to handle, although if they come in a large enough number, that could be dangerous. So let's see. I mean, really anything's dangerous. A paper cut is dangerous for Bumbles. Let's see how many we have. 1, just one underling, okay? That's fine. And the underlings are woodlings. Sprightly little rascals may have twisted tree root. Bouncy folk that prefer hopping to walking. Attacks have 30% chance to bind their victim. 30% chance to bind their target. That seems a little OP for an underling, and I'm going to ignore that because I don't agree with that. I do not agree that an underling should be able to take away a guy's turn at a 30% chance. At best, it's a 1 in 6. That's what we're going to say. It's a 1 in 6 chance of binding. Victims of the binding, more annoyance, roots are easily shaken off, but waste a turn. Yeah, okay. Woodlings. So we have a woodling. I don't know why they have a British accent. Doesn't make sense to me, but it just came out and I can't stop it. HP 4, 1d6. Alrighty, woodlings. Okay. Let's do this. So a woodling is small, and so Bumbles is a little concerned that he'll have the necessary aim that he requires to take out the woodling, but he will try nonetheless. And he does not. His arrow goes astray. The woodling will attempt to whip him with his root attack and try to ensnare him with an AC of 8. They have an identical AC, which says a lot about where Bumbles' qualifies. If you were a bad guy, he would be an underling himself. 13, we are just missing right and left. Bumble's turn. Really, it just comes down to who strikes first. 2! Excellent shot. Bumbles is so pleased, just so pleased with his aiming ability. He is, I mean, his record so far is it's plus 50% by a good margin, and that's something to be proud of, really. 4 damage, oh my goodness, with one shot through the eyes. Our woodling is dead and down. Will not be getting up. He wood, impaled in wood, ending his short existence. Sad for him. What am I doing? Oh yeah, how much gold do I get? Does Bumbles get for underlings? Just 100. 100 is all. It's not nothing. We're at 420 on his way to greater weapons and greater things. So here is something that confuses me, because at this point, Bumbles, oh, not at this point, he still needs another 400, but at some point, he will have enough, right, for a more powerful weapon. My question is this: can I go back to town? I'm here at 2. I backtrack for 1, it's a small risk, and then I'm back in town. I'm back there. I can confront my captain and be like, what the hell, bro? Probably won't, because Bumbles is dumb, doesn't know that he's been set up for failure. But more importantly, I could go sell some things, buy some things, and restock. Can I do that? I mean, there's nothing in these rules to say I can't. So I don't know why that bothers me. Because here's why. Because it's powerful. It could mean everything. If I can go and get healed and restock in the middle of an adventure, an area, clearing an area, that's everything. It's the difference between life and death, and I don't know if I can do it or not. So I do feel like that. Pausing for some critical evaluation stuff, but that I'm gonna say you can't. I'm gonna say that is not possible, because I feel like it defeats the spirit of the adventure, even though, like, narratively it makes sense to be able to do that. I don't feel like it fits with the spirit of an OSR game. All right, we're gonna search this place for clues about the weaknesses of Eric von Schwitz, and we find one. And again, as the woodling dies, he looks up. His last words, his final words to Bumbles are this: "Give my love to Eric." And he flips him off and he dies. And Bumbles is sure at this point, no, there's too many signs, too many portents that say that the bird is what's going to do it. That's what's going to get Eric the most riled up. He knows that now, beyond a doubt. He's going to search the room, try to find some treasure, and he is... Oh wait, no, we already did that, and that's why we had the underling attack. We searched the room. Oh, I forgot. In fact, we may have searched for a clue already. Probably did. But I like that. I like what just happened too much to go back. I'm sorry. And Bumbles, he needs some good things happening in his life to offset the bad. There's just too many things to be sad about, and let's give him a little joy. Let's get him a little bit of a dopamine release with some boss clues. Let's proceed to the next room. We have 2 logs. Bubbles makes his way over. He falls over the first one, of course. True to form. But he does stumbles into the 4th clearing, and this is what we find. Branching pathways, 2 pathways. Southern pathway leads to a drop of some size, a 20-foot drop, and the other way leads to whatever is that. Interesting. Of course, he doesn't know
which way is the better way to go, but he's going to probably avoid the 20-foot drop, I'm guessing. But first, let's deal with room number 4. Empty. We don't need any more clues. We know the weakness is the boss, so we will just do a basic search on this area and find nothing. Well, that was eventful. All right, so now there's no more delaying. He knows that he's nearing the end. He's getting closer. He has that feeling, the bumble's luck and the bumble's intuition going. That knows that he's close to something. But he will avoid that 20-foot drop. But although he'll peek his head around and he will look down, and that is when he spies a bandit camp. Tent, fire pit, people seated around a smoldering fire. Treasure on a small cliff in the northwest, a bandit leader. Eric Mansworn, here he is. He's dozing in the tent. He sees his feet sticking out, assumes that's Eric. 3 bandit troops. Oh boy, this is going to be tough. Bandit troops are elites, and they're bantering about who is the most fearsome warrior. So this is it. I mean, I could turn around and figure out what's over here, but I mean, Bumbles, he's here on a purpose, on a quest. He's not scared. He feels like this is just his destiny. This is his moment. The fates have aligned, and he is here. He is here to accomplish his life's work, really. And he's not even gonna hide it. He's just gonna pop out, he's gonna take aim, and he's gonna be like, today is the day of reckoning. And he will let an arrow fly. And he will completely F it up and miss. Let's put our bad guys on here. Alright, so we have our enemies. That is a lot of hit points, and a lot of damage, and a lot of AC. I mean, this is not an even fight. It is what it is, though. Bumbles has already taken his shot. Eric Mansworn heard something. We're gonna say he stirs a little, but he's not awake quite yet. Not soon enough to really do anything yet. Bandit troops, though, they're just looking around like, what was that? What's up there? And they're gonna, what do they have? Do they have ranged weapons? Let's see. Fighters trained in hand-to-hand, fleet of foot, deadly. They easily dodge telegraph blows, as demonstrated. Shabbily dressed, oversized clothing. Darts, daggers, short swords. Okay. So they do have daggers they can throw, darts they can throw, and throwing is what they will do. So bandit troop number 1 throws a dart, and it strikes true, dealing D10's worth of damage to Bumbles. 8. Ouch. Alright, so here's where we get into our blocks. I do need some sort of way of marking. I might forget I'm using it as a marker, but we'll use a D4 as a marker. My most effective block is strength, and so that's a fair amount of damage, 8. So I will use it to attempt to block that incoming dart. Aimed right for my head. All that Bumbles can do is raise his bow in front of his face and hope that it will block this dart under a roll of 12. Negative. And then that's it. Our Bubbles is dead with 1d8 of damage with health of 8. Yeah. Oh, I mean, we have a choice at this point, right? So, the very short life of Bumbles the Guardian comes to an end, and out comes Death incarnate. He basically appears. Bumbles is staring at his own body on the ground, not comprehending what is happening, and the Grim Reaper pats him on the shoulder sympathetically and said, "It was bound to happen, buddy." But you have a choice. You can surrender. You can leave all this gold, these unused items. You get an heirloom, by the way, on a 1d4, which you can give to your posterity or the person coming after you. Leave it all right here and hope that your next adventure will accomplish your mission. You can do all of that for the price of your soul, or you can come back to life, my friend. You can resist death. All you have to do is become a little dumber, or a little weaker, or a little less dexterous, and you can live on. Do I think you'll survive much longer against these guys? No. We'll be having this conversation again. Only you won't have a choice. So the choice is yours. And Bumbles, being extremely stupid, but not stupid enough to put his own needs before the needs of his town and community, he will choose to pass to the great beyond, leaving behind his rope, his antidote, his 2 healing potions, and an heirloom. Let's find out what heirloom he's going to leave behind for his next of kin or friend, or whoever comes next. Hopefully the captain of the guards will come. I mean, it serves him right to be the one to have to face these guys after what he did to Bumble. Poor Bumbles, set up really for failure. There was no hope, no chance. We all know this. All right, rewards and advancement. So there are 4 options here. Let's roll it up. 4, a silver keep, +2 to any stat, or +3 to any stat for your next generation. So that's great, because it's very if you were to find this, then you can pay it forward really in that. So we do have a silver key that's going to be left behind. It's going to get +3 to our next hero, and that is it for Bumbles. So that's it for our first attempt at Harper's Quest 2. I had fun. It was enjoyable. I always have fun, by the way, doing solo RPGs. I think even if I didn't live here in a post-apocalyptic wasteland with everyone I know dead, I still would play a lot of solo RPG, play alone. It's fun. Would I play this again? Well, let me answer that by giving you my overall take on this game, on these rules, this way of playing solo RPG. First, let me talk about what I really like about it. I really like some of the mechanics. There are several of the mechanics that they're really novel and cool and interesting. Like with the weapon quality thing, I really like that way of doing it, because it kind of combines the weapons crafting with just the inherent way that you do buying and selling things. I like the simplicity that it's not some massive shop inventory that you can buy from, but it's all just like you pick your base thing, and then it's got its quality and you can pay for it, and it does, the damage is similar. I think I like it. It's fun, and it works well, I think, in a solo situation. I like the heirloom mechanic. I think in a game like this, which is very harsh, very unforgiving, death will come swiftly and suddenly, unexpectedly, and often. Rolling up characters, it needs to be a quick process, which it is. I like the roll up, and you're into the game so fast. Once you know the rules, like, you could play through these. I mean, it says that you need like 60 minutes. I don't think you do. I think you could do 30-minute sessions if you're quick, and in some sort of dungeon crawl, you could churn through lives of heroes. And you get them leveled up through the use of the heirloom. So they're gonna die, and they're going to, the next generation is gonna inherit stronger and stronger abilities, to the point where they'll be able to accomplish the area and move on. And I think that's very interesting. That is tempting to me to want to keep going, to try out this a little bit more. But there is a lot that I do not like, or it's a little too fuzzy for me. There's some problems with NPCs. NPC rules. I didn't get to have a companion or an NPC at all. I didn't find any, but I know that if I did, based on these rules, that there would be some confusion. So, for instance, here's just one. You have two tables here: NPC reaction and NPC actions. How do those relate to each other? Because you could have a reaction, a violent reaction, but then you could have an action where they ask for help or offer you a clue, or an indifferent, or opposed. That's better. Like if they hate you, but then offer a clue. I mean, narratively you can make that work, but it seems strange to me. These themes, they seem different, so that's weird to me. And I know this is just an oracle. You can use it how you want. It's not necessarily to be all hard and fast rules, but also like you have those two, but then you have the wisdom, which I hate the wisdom thing for charisma. So which do you use, right? That's the one thing I do struggle with sometimes, is which do I use? And I know that the game creator will probably say, well, whichever one feels right. That's fine, but take a stand, right? Like, I don't know. Give me a little bit more airtight rules. That's me personally. Also, how do you get an NPC to follow you? That's not clear to me. How do you get them to be your companion? You can roll a 6. They ask for help on the next quest. Does that mean they accompany you? I don't know. I mean, how do you convince them? Is that just up to you? Or like, do you just decide that? And if so, that's a problem for me because it's powerful. Bumbles, if you would have had 2 companions at least as strong as bandit troops, that's a game changer, you know. That's soaking up damage for him, that's dealing out damage, and so finding some companions is huge. So that should be a little bit more clear, I think. How do you get companions? How do you convert an NPC to a companion? I also mentioned hirelings, NPCs and hirelings, and then I never used that word again. In the whole book, I never saw hirelings. So can you hire them? That's not clear. Can I pay for them to come along? I assume, but it's not mentioned again. So there's that. Yeah. Oh, and a momentum. Did I forget? Did anyone get momentum and I forgot? Oh, see, I knew I'd forget that. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Do companions get momentum? That is not clear. It doesn't state anywhere in the rules. If they say enemies don't, characters do, but companions or NPCs or hirelings or whatever term you use, do they? It's not clear. How much to sell things for? It shows how much it costs to buy items, but is it half that to sell them, like a lot of role-playing games? I assume so, I think. But that's a big deal, right? And because you need gold in this game to level up. It's very important. So I think it should be clear. You should be clear about how much money you can get. There is a value thing here, like in the Oracle. But where is it? Value here. But does that apply to items or not? Or is that just when you find something obscure and you don't know what it's worth? Like I think I saw like elegant beads were in the Oracle. Like an NPC could have elegant beads back here, NPC generation. Maybe that would be a perfect place to go for value, but roll for value. But what about objects you want to sell so you can get other objects? That's not clear. Who do companions attack? NPCs attack? That's not stated anywhere. We don't know. So how would I choose? Is it up to me or is it AI or dice driven? There's no mechanic for that. It doesn't spell it out. To me, it's, we don't have massive amount of space for words. Obviously, if we want to keep this to a 35 page zine, that makes sense, but that's only one line. I think you could clarify that. The mechanic, I'd said I like the mechanic of offering heirlooms and leaving your stuff to the next generation, but there's just one problem with that. And that problem is that I think that they would all collect. So all my objects are now, all my items, all Bumble's items are right here. on page 5 on my boss fight, which that makes sense. That's probably where most deaths will occur. And if that's the case, I mean, you're going to have this collection of items always there. They're not going to do the next generation any good until they get there. So that's a problem. Like, I would guess that could be frustrating if I roll up a character only slightly better than Bumble's, and then I can't get Bumble's stuff to level up until I've already potentially died on the way, which is very possible. I know Bumble's got extremely lucky on the way, but it's so easy just to roll slightly wrong a few times and be dead over here somewhere. I guess that works out because then the next generation would be able to get the stuff sooner. But you see what I'm saying, though, that I think you have to get a little collection of stuff at the end. I don't know. It makes me like the mechanic less, even though I just said I liked it. So just the other side of the coin, I guess. Going back through rooms that you've already cleared and only having the 1 in 3 chance of it being a trap, that's strange, narratively, mechanically. It's fine. But why would the author take a stance on that, though, and not some of these other things we're talking about? It does seem odd, though. Like, did somebody sneak in and set a trap, or did I just not find it the first time and I just happened to trip it off? That makes more sense, I guess. I guess it's fine. But it's just to take a stance there, but not on some of these other things, seem a little too arbitrary for me. I mentioned it. This is a big thing for me. I mentioned not knowing the answer to this. Can I go back to town in the middle of an area and heal up and buy and then come back? The mechanic of backtracking seems to suggest that that's possible, but that's a big question because I could have fled Bumbles, he was dead no matter what, but you could flee a fight, come back and potentially win it. I guess when you leave an area, though, everything resets. That is the one thing that I did read in the rules. I guess that makes sense. So you start over, basically, if you have a completely different experience the next time through, as a result of resetting the area. But still, I mean, it might be worth it, right, to go back to town. Maybe it's supposed to be that way. I wish the rules took a stance on that. I already mentioned this, but I have a big problem with wisdom being my charisma. Don't like it. I think just go one extra step, have charisma, because I think 4 makes sense. That's a nice balance. 3 is not enough. Charisma is just so important in dealing with NPCs that doesn't make sense to be couched under wisdom. Finally, I guess overall, as in terms of when I get little zines like this, or I get excited. I love self-contained, as I mentioned in the intro. I really love going through these little things, and in one session, in one night, getting through all of it and knowing it for what it was, and I enjoy that a lot. I particularly enjoy it when it's creative. And on the creativity factor for this, I do like the artwork. I think the artwork is pleasant. I like the style of it. I don't think it's particularly graphically designed incredibly well. Typography and information hierarchy and the order of things. There's a lot of flipping where it could be organized a little different. Like it looks like from the beginning that you're going to be walked through the creation of your character in the area, and then it deviates from that. Maybe it has to, but maybe it could be organized a little bit better. I don't know. It's all fine. It wasn't mind-blowing. It wasn't Mark Bork or something else that just screams creativity, oozes creativity and personality. But I think that leads me to my final comment on this, is that it doesn't take a stance on anything. When I get into it, it immediately starts talking about what it's not. Why no specific setting? Why that? I mean, why is that its intro statement? It hasn't sold me on what this accomplishes that other solo RPG rules don't. This is obviously it's filling a void or a vacuum or a need that Joy Peddler found out there. It's fulfilling a niche that or wouldn't exist. So what was that? That's what I don't get. What does this do that no other set of rules does? What does it get me? There are so many rules out there, so many self-contained guides or mechanics or systems, whatever, for solo RPGing out there. Why should I choose Joy Peddlers? That It's not clear to me at all, and it doesn't make a stance, a statement. It doesn't do that both in the design and it comes out. It comes out throughout. The rules are not airtight. That's forgivable. That is so forgivable if there's the magic and if there's the personality that oozes from the pages, which is it's not doing. It's not there, unfortunately. So those are my thoughts on Harper's Quest 2. So let's give it a grade, shall we? Let's go to the starting out, and the grade I'm going to give this work is it needs work. It needs some improvement. Will I be playing Harper's Quest 2 again in the future? No, I don't think so. There are too many other solo RPG systems, even rules light systems, which are more airtight, which are more clear on who and what they are, and which inspire me more. That's not to say that there's not potential here with some mechanics that I really am excited about. And if there ever is a Harper's Quest 3 or something else by Joy Peddler that mysteriously shows up in my temporally distorted post office box, I totally look forward to giving it the old British try. Or in my case, the old Midwestern try. But for those of you socially adjusted individuals who are still watching and who live in comfort and safety and in the presence of loved ones, whether they be human or furry, I wish for you continued non-post-apocalyptic existence, and I'm grateful for you for watching. So please send all postcards and packages to the address wherever our friend Blidbait places information along with these videos. And in the meantime, this is your friend Dystopia Apathy signing off.